Hey everyone, it's Christina and Daniel Deffenbaugh with the 1042 Project, and welcome to another episode of the Shared Voices podcast, where we're breaking the silence about the reality of the first responder experience by sharing the voices of our first responders and their families. Today, Daniel and I actually have with us Sam Hofer, a retired first responder. We've actually been blessed to have him on the podcast a couple of episodes before this, so we definitely encourage you to check that out and hear his story because it's a good one.
It is. And Sam, thank you for being on. How you doing today, buddy?
Not bad. Thank you for having me.
So we got Reg Bryan town to kind of give you a date of what time we're recording this. Reg Bryce coming through our town today. They're not stopping, but going through. So we were able to run up town earlier and get some yummy food that we normally don't get here in town. So
Yes.
fun days. Weather's hot out there, but boy, the town's full of bikers. And
Yeah, fun vibe. We got to have some food from a food truck that's actually usually in Colorado. I heard the lady talking.
Oh, really?
Yep, she'll be flying home tonight, but the
yeah,
food was good. I'll give her that.
yeah, it's always fun when you get to try something a little different, especially in a town like our size, you know, and you get some of the new things that come in.
Yeah,
I'm all about food, baby. Yeah.
can't go wrong there.
Guys, it's been a while since we had a podcast. Okay. I know things get busy, and we'll kind of address some of this in this episode. We need to be creating more episodes, but time, right? There's only so many of us, and we run out of time. So we're going to continue to record podcasts and release them, and we're going to be asking for your guys' help along the way too to help us along with this. So thanks you guys for tuning in. We truly believe that we can connect through sharing our weaknesses and vulnerabilities with each other, as opposed to trying to impress each other with our talents and our greatness. In this podcast, we like to just really talk about the first responder experience and talk real about it. We don't go into the great details of what crime scenes look like and all that kind of stuff. I mean, sometimes that may lead that way, but it's about talking about the things that people are suffering with in silence and bringing that to light and talking about it and putting some truth to it. There's a lot of things that we deal with as first responders and our families deal with that are pretty unique. And a lot of people don't know how to process them or ask for help. Because like we talk about a lot on here, when you start to struggle with your mental health as a first responder, it can get messy. You can do things you're not proud of. And we understand that. And we are here to let you have a voice where there's no guilt and no shame. We care about you, the person, not your position. And we want to help you get to where you want to be. And we do that through community. We do that through sharing, being vulnerable, and talking about things nobody else does. So Sam, you've been on here a couple times, and you've also been able to be part of the 1042 Project. And when I say be part of the 1042 Project, there's not like there's a membership or anything like that, right? You've been able to just, meet for lunch and to join the community where we're just trying to help sharpen each other and help each other get better and get through some of the things we're dealing with through community. And thank you for being here and being willing to do that. That's one thing I love is your heart. You're always willing to jump on here and you talk straight from your heart and you say what needs to be said without filter, and I appreciate that.
Absolutely. And that's what community is about. You call, I typically try and make myself available if at all possible and give back where I can.
Amen. You've also got to, we've got to do some fishing together.
That's right.
That's one thing our organization does is we really love getting first responders back into the things that they enjoy the most. And a lot of times when we struggle with our stresses from the job, we walk away from our things that we enjoy, whether it's art or music or fishing and hunting or whatever it may be. A lot of times we walk away from that, and our organization really thrives to get people back in to doing those things. So we do fishing trips, guided fishing. We're going to be setting up some hunting trips. And the reason why we do that, it's not to just go out and to catch fish to put on our tables, but it's to go out, and while we do that, we fellowship. So we're catching fish and we're sharing. We're talking about what's going on in our lives. We're being real with each other. And there's so much healing that happens out in the boat or in the duck blind or in the hunting blind, or sitting down and playing music together. There's something that happens where people just really feel heard. They feel like they're part of something, and they're more willing to talk and open up. And I think that's what's powerful about what we do is we're just providing an opportunity for people to be themselves and to be able to be real, honest, open, and transparent. And I think that's kind of what we need. You know, a lot of us are struggling with loneliness, and we'll cover that on the next episode. But so Sam, talk to me a little bit about the day that you and I went fishing. What was so? Tell me a little bit about your experience, because you still smile every time you talk about it. So just give us a quick little couple minutes what it was like and why it was important to you and what you left that day. You know, how you felt leaving that day as opposed to when you showed up to when you left.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, let's first talk about how it came about. You know, sometimes I think the best things in life happen to us unexpectedly, and you had reached out, and I know we had maybe even miscommunicated a little bit. You asked me if I wanted to drop what I was doing to go fishing. It happened to be a day I had nothing going on, so I showed up at your house 15 minutes later. You were expecting me 2 hours later. No big deal, right? But I reflect back on the day and think, how easy it would have been for me to say no.
Yep.
I was already, had some other baggage thrown my way that didn't want to deal with. It would have been easy just to say no. And
you said no to me a few times leading up to it, a couple times.
Oh yeah.
Which,
absolutely.
to be fair, just with everybody, so everybody knows this, I'm working on this. With my life, especially now with what I do for the 1042 project, where I literally my life is minute to minute because I don't know where I'm going and what's going to be next. Where I am last minute, hey, let's go right now. I'm going to find somebody to go, and then we go. And I've got to work on planning that better with everybody, so you have time and others have time to plan. So when he's told me no before, it wasn't no that he didn't want to go. It was no, I have a life. I cannot leave right now and go spend the rest of the night with you.
But in fairness, I mean, I think we all need to live a little more spontaneously as well.
Yeah, I agree.
But I guess the point being, I could have stayed home and I could have isolated and, not dealt with my problems the way I typically do, and decided to go down fishing with you. So we went down to Rathbun. You got me on some of those hybrid wipers. Never caught anything like that before. I think it's my new target species, to say the least.
Isn't that something? It's so much fun.
Yep. In fact, we can talk about payment later for me buying my boat that I want to buy.
Yeah, he wants to buy a boat,
there.
and he's all hooked on fishing now, and he's got a fire lit in him to get back to enjoying that kind of stuff.
But yeah, I mean, fishing's always been a hobby of mine. I think it was, meant to be that we went down there and had a day out of it. It was nice to let go of everything. And I think you talk about the fellowship when we do these things. I think that's where we all struggle, is we struggle to let go of the stresses of life and go have fun.
Yes.
Joy was the term when we talked about it.
Yep.
And I think it makes a difference. One of the more impactful things on that trip had nothing to do with the fishing, but it had to do with your story, which I already knew, my story, which you already knew, but then the guide, who really we didn't know from Adam, had his own story that was able to come out.
Awesome story. I mean, a story of hurt and pain and getting healthy as well.
Absolutely. So, I mean, we all have the stories, and I think we posed a great question to each other, and I don't know that we've ever discussed the answer, is why is it in those settings things tend to come out easier? Why are we willing to talk in those settings versus going to the doctor's office and being interrogated on the issues we don't want to talk about?
Yes.
Under a time crunch, to say the least, with our healthcare system. God forbid you get more than 15 minutes with your doctor.
Yeah.
But, why is that? I think that was my takeaway, but yet unanswered question.
Yeah. And babe,
I love that. I
know, doesn't he have the great answers?
Yeah, like it gets you thinking, but I always have my theories on these kinds of things because I think about that stuff all the time.
I love theories.
So
this segment brought to you by Theories from Christina.
Oh, how many hours you got? No, but I think that honestly that poses a really good point, because it's kind of that experience in a nutshell is a mirror to what 1042 Project exists for. There's this perceived level of safety when you're with a peer that you already know has shared your pain, and you already know, like, so, Sam, you and Daniel were on this boat together, and you already knew Daniel is a safe person for you. He already knew that you're a safe person for him. You guys have this shared connection from your first responder experience and the struggles that came from that. And Daniel and I have talked about this before. That's such a powerful thing. That's, part of why we exist, because when you do get to connect with somebody that inherently understands the deepest struggle of your life, there's a lot of connection and healing that happens there. And not to say that doctors or therapists aren't important. They definitely are important, and they do serve a purpose. And getting to talk with somebody that has walked your road also has a purpose. And it definitely, I think that's just kind of a benefit that just comes with it. This person gets it and they've been where you've been. And I think couple that with something that is a positive for you. Fishing is a positive for you. It's not, gosh, how many negative things are just automatically attached to doctors' offices? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's already kind of a heavy place for people. Not to mention like the reservations. I don't know this person. What are they going to say? What are they going to do? What's going to happen after this? Again, not that great things cannot happen from those appointments, because they definitely can. But getting to be on a boat with Daniel or with you, first responder to first responder, there's so many layers of benefits to that. Trusted community, safe space, fun environment, fun activity, and then couple that with what's happening there. You guys are being real with each other. You're being vulnerable with each other, and you both see it as a desired strength. You both showed up for that. You both wanted that. And that's another benefit. Like, gosh, I could just go on and on. And then also a benefit to the guy on the boat. He got to hear that and be part of it too, because honestly, that's something that's healing for everybody, but specifically for the first responder community, you guys need each other.
Exactly. And Christina, so when I go on when I take people out, right? Everybody thinks, oh, it's me going out to give help to somebody. But what also happens there, just 50% of that, what happens out there is I get a lot of healing.
Yeah.
So how do I come back before I leave and before when I come back from one of these? Because this is not about, just the people in the boat that I'm with getting some healing. And that's what's so awesome about the 1042 project. We truly believe we can start helping each other right now. We don't have to wait until we get better to be the perfect person to help somebody.
Yeah.
We can walk alongside somebody right now with what we have by just being an open ear and being a friend, and not holding guilt or shame over them. And so that's what's so great is like when I take people out, it has not worked for me because I leave there full of joy and hope and purpose myself. But how do when I come and go, as far as me?
Yeah. So whenever you're getting ready for an outing or you're leaving, you're always, excited and like it's a good positive thing. But when you come back, the best way to put it, I guess, is you're just a little bit on fire. You're just very upbeat and excited. And I always hear from you, this is why I love what I do. This is why we need to be doing this. This is why it's so important, because it helps them, it helps you. But it also just brings to mind, that saying, like when you're trying to heal, the only way to get to healing is to go through it. You can't, there's no exception for going through that process. And that's what that is. You're going through it with somebody. You can't just skip over that.
And that's the power of community, guys. And that's what's so neat about the 1042 project, Sam, is there's no special sauce besides we just kind of show up for each other, right? And we're real with each other. So guys, when we ask people to be part of the 1042 project, no, all that means is you're listening, you're coming to our events if you want to, you're reaching out. If you want to come fishing with me, please reach out, hunting, whatever it may be. If you want to get plugged into your art, music, whatever that is, reach out, guys. There's no special code or anything to be part of this. We are just first responders who have been through some stuff, and we still have some issues with it. So we decide to work on it together as a community. And that is what's so cool about it. So these events, when we take people fishing, it is not in replace of your doctor. It is not in replace of your counselor. None of us in the boats, none of us that are out hunting, we are not doctors. We're not counselors. We are not certified in anything besides being good humans to each other. And that's why we do what we do. And that's why we ask you to come along and join us, to be part of our community, because we truly believe that iron sharpens iron, just like the Bible says.
Right. And that's really what, like, that's walking out when we say, we're working to end the stigma. That's walking that out, because what happens on the boat with you guys or out in the field hunting is really what we ask for each of you to bring into your homes and into your departments, being willing to be vulnerable and honest and transparent in hearing each other out. Hear your peers out. Don't judge them for what they're saying. And then for them to treat you the same way. And that's what it looks like to end the stigma and be the change.
Yes. What's John say? Listen to hear, not listen to
speak.
To speak. So many of us, we ask somebody questions, and then as they're talking, we're already forming our next thought and already quit listening.
Yeah. And
a lot of times we just need somebody to just hear us. They don't even have to answer the question for us. We just need somebody to hear us. Mm-hmm. And that's what this organization's about, whether it's, art, music, whatever, no matter what it is. We're here to help walk alongside you, to be that community, to provide a place for you to have a voice, a place where you can come as you are. And there's no guilt or shame, no matter what you're going through. I don't care if you got hired or got fired. Guys, we care about you. We care about getting you to the next step that you want to get to. And that's what we wanted to share in this podcast episode, is the power of community, and the power of what we do is just walk alongside other. And we ask you and we invite you into that. We're going to be having a lot of events coming up, but I want to talk about one of them that's going to be coming up in August. Will be our first one. We're going to be having a gathering. This one is just for men. Nothing against the women. We love our women listeners out there, but we do also believe in sometimes we need to separate. So this will be a men's retreat that we're going to be having. I'll give the location and stuff later. But we're going to start meeting at places. The place I have in mind, we're going to be meeting at a pond, a very large pond that is all mowed. It's super nice. It's meant for fishing and fun. Having a night out there where people can bring their smoked meats and foods, and we're just going to have a fellowship of guys to come out. First responders can come out, and we're just going to have a fellowship. We're going to fish. We're going to kayak. There'll be stuff there if you don't have anything. We want everybody to just come and fellowship, and we're going to have some fun, be silly. A lot of times in our life, especially us guys, just need to be a place where we can go and actually be allowed to be boys. Yeah. Because truly we are boys at heart. So many times in this world they say, grow up, quit acting like that. Well, with us guys, I can't speak for the women because I'm not a woman. For us guys, we have to act like boys somewhere. Yeah. So it's going to be in a bar being silly and ridiculous, or it may be at a strip club acting like a fool, or it can be at a pond with fellow brothers, fellow first responders, where we are all there sober and we are there to not judge one another, but just to talk about things, have some fun, have some fishing. If you're a musician, bring your guitar, whatever it may be. We're going to break some bread. We're going to have some fun, and we're going to talk about a few things while we're there too. Every time we do this, I'm hoping to do it monthly, but don't hold me to that, because it's all going to come down to the amount of volunteers and stuff we get, and we'll talk about that on the next episode. But in this episode, I just wanted to talk about, with Sam being here, and he'll be on the next episode as well, but talk about just the power of just a day in a boat can have, and how much, not only that, Sam, how much you and I grew through our friendship that day.
Oh, absolutely.
Was powerful and magical. So thank you for that. Thank you for coming, because it meant a lot to me too. So thank you guys. And Christina's going to go ahead and close us out.
Yeah. So thank you guys for being a part of this community where vulnerability is viewed as strength and wisdom, not weakness. We just ask that you remember nobody walks alone, and lead this change. Be part of the solution by asking for help if you need it, sharing your story, and ending this stigma. Please help us by sharing this podcast, following us on social media, or visiting our website at 10-42project.org.